Hey guys, so another little update. It's the night before my retrieval. I'm going in for 8 a.m. tomorrow, and my procedure is supposed to be sometime after 9, probably between 9 and 10, we'll see. So I'm like nervous, I'm anxious, I'm excited. I think I've told you guys that I've been anticipating getting like 11 or 12 to like maybe 15 eggs. And I asked my doctor yesterday, I think, what he thought. And he's like, I'm going to give you a big range. He's kind of a character. He's like, I'm going to give you a big range. So, like, don't let it scare you. And I was like, okay. And he thinks that we're going to get anywhere between 10 to 20. I don't think we're getting 20. If we did get 10, I would still be really happy because that's a lot more than what we've been getting. But I think we're probably going to get in the low teens, which is phenomenal for me because in the last couple months, the 2 cycles we've done, we anticipated getting 6 and 8, and I can't remember exactly how many we ended up getting. Like one was 5. And in any event, he's pushed the follicles a lot bigger. So it's also harder to tell. Like, I have a couple that are 23 millimeters right now, I think. So they may be post-mature. And the reason why he was saying like up to 20 is, I guess, so he, unlike my previous doctor, likes to do the final ultrasound because I guess he's a little OCD about it. And he's like, oh, the ultrasound techs in the clinic are always like rushing from one patient to the next because they're slammed in the morning. So he likes to take his time and make sure that he is personally happy with what he's seeing before he does the trigger shot. So, and he likes to trigger at least older patients like me, bigger, which I don't quite understand because my previous doctor had said that older patients do better if you trigger smaller. But then when I looked into that, the study was for patients over 43. And like until yesterday, I was only 40. It was my birthday yesterday, so now I'm 41. But yeah, so I guess we'll see what happens. I had a little bit of a minor breakdown today. I'm a little bit traumatized from my previous doctor, especially from our first cycle together like 2.5 years ago, because she always told me that she didn't know why, when we expected to get 14 to 16 mature, why we only got 6 mature and 9 immature. And she did a bunch of testing afterwards to see maybe not in a natural cycle I ovulate when my follicles are smaller, and she said no. Like the 2 times we did cycle monitoring of like a natural cycle, I kept ovulating, I think it was like around 17 millimeters. So she claimed that she ruled that out, and that it must have been something to do with the trigger shot, which at the time, until like a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, recently, when my new doctor disagreed, I like bought into it because especially because I had had a car accident, and I actually took my trigger shot in the ER, the night of like my first ever cycle. And so I was like, oh, like, and we didn't do a dual trigger. We had only done, I think it's like an agonist called a GnRH agonist. Anyway, we used a drug called Decapeptyl, and which also was new to the clinic because apparently they stopped producing it in Canada. And I was like one of the first patients for my clinic to use it as a trigger. On a side note, I'm like confused by that because more recently I've stumbled across the fact that they do still sell Lupron in Canada. So I don't know. But anyway, so they hadn't used Decapeptyl before, and it was like this whole, my last cycle was like a whole disaster. So I'm a little bit traumatized. But my new doctor keeps saying, like, no, she just triggered you too early. That's why you keep getting, like, the results that you expect to get. Like, I think 2 cycles ago we were expecting to get 8, and then we got 6 because a couple were premature or something like that. But anyway, he was saying, like, no, you keep getting the results you do because she's triggering you too early. So anyway, he's pushing the follicles a lot bigger. So we'll see what happens. Like a psycho today, I went in and I had like advocated for myself because I wanted to do a follow-up blood test after my trigger shot to make sure that it worked. And there's like some people in the IVF community that do suggest doing that. However, at least at my clinic, it's not done, but they agreed to do it. And my doctor said that, yep, my level had risen, so the trigger shot worked. And this time we're doing what's called a dual trigger. We're doing the Decapeptyl plus a little bit of HCG, because apparently both have benefits. And what's also kind of interesting this time is my estrogen levels are through the roof. So what I've noticed from this being like my now 4th cycle is I typically produce about 1,000 units of estrogen per mature follicle. And right now my estrogen, I think yesterday it tested at like 18,000 or something like that. I don't think we're gonna get 18 mature eggs. I think it's partially extra elevated because I have this one follicle, I guess, from the previous cycle that kept growing, and it's at like 31 millimeters, and then the next biggest one is I think 23. But anyway, I wonder how much extra estrogen that like 31 sized follicle makes. So, and I haven't asked, so I don't know, but yeah, so I anticipate probably getting in the low teens of mature follicles, or like eggs from the mature follicles. So I'm very excited. It's all very stressful. Yeah, so wish me luck.